Hi there and welcome. This is part 7 of the chucK granulator tutorial. I think it's 7, maybe part 8. In any case, what we're going to do is we're going to learn to trigger some of our grain clouds. We've been building grain clouds or just the ability to make them. And now it's just like kind of the interface. Very simple kind of triggering type of thing. So the first thing we'll look at is just this machine add. So you can run concurrent shreds by sporking things, as we learned earlier, but you can also do this machine add. So you can add actual patches that you have, chucK files, and once you add those, they'll play. So if I play that, it's playing this file, sample cloud 1a, which is here somewhere. They're all the same, I suppose. Right, sample cloud 1a. All right, so it's playing that. I have various different ones that I can play, and it'll play that. Okay, so let's put this into an OSC context. If you don't know what OSC is, I suppose you should read up on that. This is presuming some knowledge of OSC. It's just like MIDI. It's a kind of protocol. And so we're going to set up OSC in chucK. And you can see the things here. This follows closely the example of OSC that's provided for you in the chucK documentation. Okay, so we're going to create a receiver, MeOSC, right there. And then we're going to designate a port number. In this case, it's 12321. Okay, and then we're going to say for MeOSC to start listening. So it's going to listen at my IP address at this port 12321. And then we're going to create an event. And this is the way chucK handles OSC events. So it's creating an event, and then this is your OSC address right here. Okay. And the arguments that are coming through. And then this guy, whatever this is, it's being sent to this OSC event tog1. Okay. So this is the address coming in from my device. /1/toggle1. I'm using a program on my phone called TouchOSC. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but there's a lot of documentation out there that'll help you use this. And I just wanted to make sure I configured that appropriately. So this is the toggle is sending this tag or this name over. Okay, so it's going to be this event, tog1, is going to be waiting to hear this thing, and then it's going to expect a float coming in with it. Okay. And then all I did was I set up this play toggle system, which I'll walk through in a bit. But you set up an infinite loop there, and actually maybe we can set a little bit of a frame rate, because just simply now it's just as fast as it can go, right? Okay, so So this is the way chucK handles events. It's going to bring the event toggle1 to now. So it's going to wait for the event toggle1 to come in. So basically, this line is waiting for a message through the internet, through OSC coming in with that address. Okay, and then we set up this loop while toggle1.next message is not equal to 0. So while this while loop will stop if there's no messages coming in. All right. And then you can get the information. So this is the information coming in from your toggle1, tog1.get float, call that, and we're going to get the float that's coming in as data. Now, I haven't found a way to get ints or to send in, so I think it's always float. So I cast that to an integer because I want it to be a toggle. Okay, and I just set up the symbol integer here in play tog, and I'm going to this toggle is going to come in from my TouchOSC device, and it's going to either be 1 or 0 because it's just a simple toggle on my thing. And then I just send a simple if statement, if else statement. If playTog is 1, it's going to call this this file, okay, and it's going to store this in ID 0. So I just made a simple array of integers so they can store the ID of that particular file. So when it calls that, it's going to store it here in ID 0. And then when it gets a 0, so if play 1, if it's something else, which it only has 1 and 0, if it's 0, then it's going to remove that ID 1. Okay, so you can set up a bunch. So if you wanted to set up multiple things, you just duplicate this and duplicate this. So you just set up MeOSC event. It might be 1 toggle 2, and then you call it tog2, and then have play tog, and then you have I guess you'll have another one, or you can set up an array of these if you want. Play tog2 is 1, etc., etc., and then you can open up a different thing. Okay. And so if we add that shred now, and we just go over here and just push our TouchOSC, that's getting a 1 from my OSC thing. It's playing it. And if I take it off, it's getting a 0, and it removes that cloud. sometimes my network wasn't working so good, so sometimes the message wasn't quite getting through. Okay, so that'll do for OSC right there. All right, now for an example that uses the keyboard. Okay, so we have something very similar here. This is basically just taken straight up from the example that's provided in the chucK tutorials, or the chucK whatchamacallit? What is it called? Examples, right? Okay, so there's this page here, chucK presented edu examples, and it pulls in, you have various things. So one of them is keyboards, keyboard events and such. Okay, OSC keyboard input, HID keyboard demo, there's the one. Okay, so basically this thing, it's gonna look at, I just kept this ID for later on. We're gonna use the machine ID. It kept this device. It's getting this stuff from command line. You can look into all this. This is just kind of standard stock stuff that it's getting. It's just trying to find the right device. Okay, and then it's going to say keyboard, and it's going to tell you the name, and say it's ready right there. So now basically you're going to have this infinite loop, okay, and then if it receives one or more messages, and then it's going to check if the button's down, okay, and this will just a little printout thing like that. So if the button's down, I just have key 81, which I believe is the Q key, and it's going to just trigger this thing. Now, if it's 87, so that's the W button. It's just going to take away this grain cloud, okay? And then I just have a toggle one here set up. So if 69, which is the E button, is pressed down, it's going to play it. If it's, let's see, so I can get rid of this. If it's let go, then it's going to remove it. Okay, so you have a toggle button like that. All right, so if we add this shred and we hit the Q key, oh, and remember it's a live keyboard, so maybe it's better to have somewhere where you can't type something in. And then I'm going to press the W key to stop it. And then it prints out all the things that I have it to print out. Q key to stop. I have this printout. I should take that out of the patch. And then here's the E key, which is just a toggle. If down is on, up is off, down is on, up is off. Okay, so that's another way you can set up to trigger your grain clouds and have a real-time kind of performance using either keyboard or OSC. Either way. Okay, hopefully that was helpful.